Hi, I'm Construction Gamer, and this is the UK Northern Powerhouse on Transport Fever 2. This is going to be episode number 7 in the series, and in this episode we're going to be joining up Leeds and Sheffield. So we've got the actual Liverpool, Manchester, and then we've got Manchester to Sheffield linked up, and then we can link up Leeds to Sheffield as well. So we've got a bit of a network going on, and we can extend the spread of the destinations that can be reached by rail. Currently join me on board this Liverpool and Manchester Railway service. I've repainted some of the services. I had a couple of comments about more realistic paint schemes for this different services, so I thought I'd put that into action. So this one is it's red, but it's supposed to be London, Midland and Scottish Railway red, but I'm not sure if it's completely accurate, but it's a bit more accurate than it was in that bright yellow colour scheme. Similarly with the London and North Eastern Railway, I've put those services in blue as well, just to make them a little bit more accurate. And before I start going any further, what I wanted to test was, you got Liverpool, current destinations is 948. Just want to make a note of that. Should have made a note of that before. And if we go to, there's quite a few people waiting there. How many? Oh, it's alright. And then if we go to Manchester's 1200 now, so that's not too bad. 1210. And what I want to do is, we have Manchester connected up to Sheffield with the Woodhead Tunnel, Woodhead Pass by Penistone there. And what I want to do is see if connecting up Sheffield to Leeds will actually have any impact on Manchester's destinations. I suppose we could connect Manchester to Leeds a bit earlier on, but as we've got the Woodhead Pass in there and Sheffield already connected up through the Pennines, then I thought we may as well do it this way around. No real logic to it other than we've already got sort of the track in place which connects up to Manchester through the Pennines, so we may as well make use of it and see if it actually does make any impact. Let's see if connecting Sheffield to Manchester and Leeds has any impact as far west rather, as Liverpool. So that's what I want to test today. Similarly with Hull over here, I'll make a note of the destinations. Not many destinations reachable at the minute from Hull. Would have thought that would have been a little bit better, but let's see if we can improve things with that. I want to get these trains out of the way. You see what I've done there with the blue colour for the London and North Eastern Railway colours. Right, get him out of the way. And this is Leeds Station. Is this already? I think this is already 240 metres long, but I just want to check. It is. Yeah, so that's already 240. So I think what I want to do is start expanding Leeds a bit in preparation for the new services. Now we want to configure. So it's not going to be. I'm not going to make it accurate yet, but no, we want tracks in, don't we? Tracks in the middle. And these can be blue because that's the LNER colours, and we'll put 2 down middle there, make them a bit wider, and some more tracks. Leeds is going to be completely rebuilt at some point, but for now just want to make sure there's enough capacity for the future services. And we've got some steps, but no steps in the middle there. Canopies. Chuck a few of these on. Like so. We do have some different things with the UK station segments. You do have a few different options. So we've got some walls now as well, which will actually yeah, we're going to be doing this properly at some stage, but I just thought I'd show you because it really does finish the stations off having a bit of a wall there rather than having a blank space just for them to fall off the back of that. So yeah, we'll be using that later on when we start to finally work with the stations a bit more and get them into their sort of final shape, I guess. Just want to, yes, I know there's a bus route, but what we want, I'm going to keep that there. What I'm going to do is track. We want track. Don't want to electrify it just yet. I'm just going to have this one coming off here. I want to keep it on the flat. Bring that round. Keeping it on the flat, and then just have a nice junction coming off that. Can we have just a bit of a junction? Nope, it's the wrong way round. Right, try that again. So we want to come in while we have an autosave. Still takes quite a long time for the autosave to do its business, even with a SSD hard drive that I upgraded to. Right, get rid of that. Bring that round into there, and then we'll just chuck a signal on there before I forget. Now, I've been trying to look for what the best route is, or for a route to Sheffield. There are several, but I was going to go with the one via Barnsley and Wakefield Kirkgate. Couldn't quite figure out the actual route of the Northern service, but I'm guessing, or I'm just going to have it like this. It's just a one, so it's a regional station. I think this will be, wants to be a passenger station with two tracks, two platforms, like so, and then we'll have to connect that up. Track. So yeah, I think there are two approaches. There is either a way to come in. Actually, we need to put that road back before I forget, because I will forget. Just bring that. Yes, bring this over a little bit so it looks a little bit better than that. This all will be redone at some stage, but I do want it to look half decent whilst we are building. Alright, so we've done that. What I was saying is, I think looking at the service that's there, I think I'm going to come round. There's like a bit of an S that comes around the back and then into there. The other option is that trains come in and then reverse out of Kirkgate, but yeah, I'm going to go for this way for now until I'm told otherwise, or unless I can find the actual route of this particular service, or if this service is replaced by something else as we start to develop the different routes. But for now, we just want to connect this up straightforward, nice and straightforward. Don't want anything too complicated. And there is a route, as far as I could tell, looking on Google Maps, that does come round the back. There are two different options. There is an option that comes down and then kind of takes an easterly approach, but yeah, wasn't sure if it did that, so we'll do this for now anyway, and then we can always mess about with it a bit later on. I was thinking Penistone wants to be connected up to Barnsley at some point, and that is almost takes like a 90-degree turn, then comes into the top of Barnsley and then comes down in a Sheffield direction. So I want to get the stations in a location where that will allow that. If I just press play, actually, we've got I thought we only had 8 million in the bank, but we've got 84, so we're not doing too badly. I think we can just play it on ×1 for now, just while we're building and I'm recording. I know that's a main connection. We can even afford a bit of levelling, I think. So we want it on that sort of level there, and then we'll come back and make it look a bit nicer at some point. No, pause. Stop building. Trying to build you a nice station. Again, I just think this Barnsley station will be a regional, so 160 metres long should be sufficient for that. And then we'll just put in a road connection like so. Make sure that's all connected up. Tracks, no electrification, and then where are we? We're over in that sort of direction, so I think we can just head not straight out, but we don't want that, we just want that on the flat for now, just because we're going to be building a junction at some stage, so I want to make sure that's nice and flat, and that looks a bit rubbish, so push that back while we're here. And then it is just pretty much a straight, well, a curved run up to Wakefield. Again, we don't want any tunnels or anything, we just want it to be pretty straightforward. Make sure we're going in the right sort of direction. Is that all kept nice and 75? Yes, it has. Just bring this down here. Yeah, what I tend to do for the routes that I'm going to put in service is I've got a printed version of the national, what's it called? I've actually got it with me now. It's National Rail Train Operators by Project Mapping. It shows you, it's quite a simplistic map, it's just straight lines, but it does show you most of the services that are in place, and then I will go in with the actual National Rail Inquiries app and see what services operate between the 2 or 3 towns that we're connecting up, and this is the one that I found was basically Leeds, Wakefield. I need to rename that while I remember, because this is going to be the final location of this. So this is Wakefield, what was it, Kirkgate, and there'll also be Wakefield something or other, Wakefield Wargate, is it, or Westgate? Wakefield Westgate as well, so that'll be towards the west, funnily enough, and that also has a junction connecting that up to that as well, so we need to get all that in place at some stage in the future. That corner's a bit sharp, but we're going to live with that for now. So it's, yeah, via Barnsley, and then it comes over towards Sheffield, which has a platform ready and waiting. So actually, no, wait, Sheffield's going to be rebuilt at some stage, so we'll just have that on the flat, and then we'll just bring out a separate line. It might be part of this line, I'm not sure, but this all will change at some stage when I've decided if I'm going to keep the Woodhead route or not, because that does actually, you know, like I said in the last episode when we built the Woodhead route, that it does close in the 1970s, so I'm still in two minds whether I'm going to keep it open past that date or not. Put this connection back in there, we can press play again. Bring that round like that. Possibly, geez, that looks pretty horrendous. Wouldn't have thought that would be that bad. I should bring that down a bit and try and have it on the level. Ooh, we can actually build it across the station. That's possibly, that might not be accurate, but it's interesting. And then something like that will do. Connect that back up. You don't need to be going up just yet. And then come in, do a bit of smoothing. I know we can always do that later on. So we've got that connected up. Then we want the track going down towards Sheffield, which we already have in place. So yeah, gone on the National Rail Inquiries app, looked at services between Leeds and Sheffield, and this one that came up is a northern service. Obviously Northern wasn't a thing until the 2016, or Northern by Arriva anyway wasn't a thing until 2016, but I'm just using the Northern service as sort of a guide to for which services to put in place, without trying to go back and research all of the old historic rail services that were in place. That would be it's possible with all the information that we now have available to us, but it would be quite difficult, and I don't think I'm prepared to do that amount of research for a game, to be honest. So we will just use the things that we have available to us. I mean, the likes of the colour schemes that were suggested to me, I don't mind doing things like that to try and keep it a little bit accurate, and the station names and things like that, you know, try and keep those accurate. But as far as historic services go, I wouldn't be really going too much into detail of researching those. And these will be a lot of these services will form kind of the future services as well, so it's just as well that they are kind of the services that are in place at the minute. So that's pretty straightforward actually, that. So let's get a route in and see if it will behave. Actually, I'll put some signals in, some one-way signals, and see if it will put the actual platforms in the right place this time. One thing I've noticed, even with bus stops, if you just click on the centre tab, sometimes it will just decide that it's going to turn the bus around, or the coach rather in this instance is going to turn it round and then go back on itself for some reason. You have to then go back in manually and change the platform or the bus stop so that it is correct, which is a bit frustrating. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Again, with the stations, even though you've got two tracks and it's all signalled correctly, sometimes it will just try and route them into one platform, which is frustrating. So we've got Leeds and we've got Wigan Westgate, or Kirkgate rather, Barnsley. Why? What's the problem? Oh, it's just because it can't turn round. And then back again. It couldn't turn round at Wakefield, so is it? Are they on the right side of the track? Or the correct side of the track? Yes, they are. So that is in place. So I'll just rename that to Leeds Sheffield. Not actually sure what the service is at this point. Change the colour to something a bit bluer, and then I think we'll put the depot in to Leeds somewhere. See what that looks like. Sometimes you look at a junction and think, oh, that looks fine, then when you're actually on board the train, the junction looks horrendous. And I have been working around, like, any junctions that I think look horrendous, I will come back and try and improve them. So we've got that in. We've got plenty of money in the bank, we don't need to worry about that. So let's stick with what we got. Passenger wagons, we've still only got these 62 miles per hour ones. I have got some Mark 1s which unlock shortly, I think in the 1930s, so we've got another 10 years to go, so we'll just stick with these for now. Locomotives, top speed of 50. I know we don't really need a top speed of 70, but what's that, 891 horsepower compared to 1000. Yeah, these seem to be doing the job. I've been using these all over the place because they just seem to do the job that we want to. Passenger wagons would just go with passenger carriages, and I reckon we want 3 of those, 17 million. Oh, we can easily afford that. Buy that, and then we want it in the inner blue, London and North Eastern. So I've been using something like that. and we want the maintenance to be like that from the get-go, and then Leeds Sheffield will just start that on their way. Just fast forward things a little bit while he comes out of there, and then once this service is bedded in, I will press pause on him. Actually, you'll try and space these out. Unlike the buses, if you had a rail thing in the middle and set the trains out, they wouldn't go out in opposite directions. Even if you'd put the track in place, they'd all just go in the same direction, which is a bit frustrating, so you have to manually unbunch them, and it just helps keep the losses down early on in the route's beginning. So I'll wait till he's almost got to almost Barnsley before I let him go. Is that right? No, let him go. Yeah, it's a tricky, because you've got 3 is a bit of an odd number, so it can be a bit tricky. So if I let him go now, and then when I've got him, pause that one, and I won't let this one go until this train's arrived at Sheffield, which isn't taking too long. I know we've got on times 4 speed. The date speed is still at a quarter, so we're not progressing the game too much into the future. Then I'm hoping this service will start to make money pretty quickly. The other services that I've put in place since the first couple of episodes when we did struggle, I've actually been doing alright. He's still got a bit of a way to go. So if we look at Manchester, Sheffield, that was making money. That was making about £1 million, but I'm not sure what's going on there. Maybe just a little bit of a blip, because I am messing around with things. Has he arrived in Sheffield yet? Yes, he has, so I'll let him go. I know it's a bit unbalanced. I probably should have waited a bit longer. We've got 2 bus routes in there, so that's all connected up. Sheffield, 1,000 destinations reachable. That should go up, and hopefully these services will all feed into one another at some stage. We got anybody waiting to go to? Oh, we've got one waiting. Right, Leeds. I didn't make a note of how many destinations Leeds had, did I? We'll wait for it to bed in just a little bit longer. And that's not... Is that connected up? Have they got any... as Colonel Fatal will say, tendrils? They possibly have. I'm going to do that myself, actually. I want the road to be alongside like that. It's a bit better than just having a dead end into the middle, and that means they connect up this side of the town as well, or the city. Is it a city? And then we'll just speed things on a little bit. What sort of reach have you got? So it's not great. Probably could do with a little shuttle bus service in. But it seems to be developing over here anyway, so we'll leave it doing that for the minute. So Leeds Sheffield losing plenty of money, that's good. That should be making money. I did increase the number of carriages to 5 because we were getting a bit full on some of the services, but yeah, probably it's just bedding in, but it is up and down. But you can see there Liverpool and Manchester doing 2 million, so it's more than making up for that. Bradford interchange to Hull, it's 1.2, so it's not too bad. And we've still got these freight services in here which do make money more often than not, so they are good to have there just to keep the money coming in. How many passengers have we got on board? How many? 20. That's not too bad for an early start to the service. What have we got down here? And that's not really connected up too much of Barnsley either. Actually, I think what I will do is use no, we'll put a bus stop in here, and then a bus stop there, and I'm going to cannibalise this what is it, Barnsley to Penistone bus service. Where are you? Barnsley, that one. So we're going to cannibalise this one, so that goes to Queensway. After that you want to go to that and then to the station, and that way it's a connection between Penistone and Barnsley, but it's also a commuter route at the same time, so it does two jobs, and hopefully by doing that it should keep making money. Just make sure these bus stops are on the right direction. We've got a new we've got a plane. I don't think we need to be bothering that at the minute, or if ever. So that's connected up there like that. Possibly, why are you so closely bunched up together? Shouldn't be. Might need to chuck a couple more buses on at some stage, but that helps connect the station up to did I put, oh, it's just a default station, so it will have the passageways underneath. And again, Sheffield already has a commuter and city to city connection like so. So let's see what sort of money then. Actually, let's take a look at the balances of everything while we're waiting for that service to bed in. Manchester Bolton is not performing very well, considering there was huge demands for that service at one point. Penistone Barnsley is the service that we've just fettled with, but that's now a commuter, so we don't mind if we have to subsidise that a bit. Just take a look at the money situation. We can't see charts, balance, doesn't really tell you too much, does it? So I think we are generally, if you look here, making a profit on the rail service. We've just invested so much money. Railroad road is overall making a profit, so yeah, 500,000, 600,000, so we're doing alright. We don't have to worry too much. Now, how many passengers have we got waiting here? We've got quite a few want to go to Leeds now. I mean, that service should be making money. Manchester should. I don't know why it's changed. I think possibly because we've put this new route in, but it was making upwards of 1 million. So yeah, I think it's just those extra carriages have just pushed it out of the profitability for now, but I'm pretty sure it will come back. So we've given this a bit of time to bed in. We've got it all connected up. This could do with a shuttle, like I said, but we're just going to leave that for now. We've got a shuttle in here, which is also a city to city. That's all working nicely. So if we head over towards Hull first and see if the destinations have improved. 519. Hull was 395, so that has improved the destinations for Hull. What I'm trying to achieve, or just trying to investigate, is just to see how far people will travel on the different rail routes. So that looks to have improved that. That's 395 to 500 and something. If we go over to Manchester, which is somewhere 21253, it's gone up very, very slightly. It was 1210. That could just be an anomaly, but yeah, it's too small of a figure to know if that was anything to do with that little connection we've put in place. And Liverpool was 348, 352. It's only gone up by 4. So again, it's too small of a number to know if that is because of this new rail route we have put in place, but it definitely helps connect everything up a little bit more and vary the destinations that people can go to. So what we've got here, Sheffield, yeah, I think that should make a profit. Yeah, I need to do a bit more investigation around. I mean, I don't need to worry about it too much at the minute, but I would like to have the services at least in a semi-accurate kind of route. But for now, that will do the job, I think. And we can look forward to developing some other routes. I mean, we've got loads and loads to do on this map. I think might start on some of the main lines, like the East Coast main line, the West Coast main line. Might actually start on some of those. So possibly, maybe starting with the East Coast main line down towards Selby. Connect that up. So yeah, I think we are done for this episode. We're going to leave you with the service from, if we can find one, just departed Leeds. So I'm going to leave you with that service from Leeds down to Sheffield, and I'm going to say until next time, bye bye.